Welcome to Hood Champion Boxing Sports. In boxing, you find a way to win or you find a way to lose. Hey, let me tell y'all right now. I'm going to go ahead and make a prediction on this, right? Because I like to understand fighters, what they bring to the table. When we really start taking a look and analyzing Jermell Charlo at 168 and understanding Canelo Alvarez at 168, how Canelo Alvarez has, I would say, matured into that weight division. I'm of the opinion that Canelo really doesn't belong at 168, although he's the undisputed. I think Canelo probably, at this point in time, remember, at this point in time, probably should be more bubbling up around 160, but it is what it is, right? Canelo has proven that, with the right opposition, if he moves up in weight, he can dominate. So you have to give Canelo all the credit in the world for what he's been able to accomplish. But something that we need to understand is this version of Canelo isn't the Canelo that we grew accustomed to watching in the ring. And that's a fact. Canelo is not the same. You know what I'm saying? There was a time where Canelo was landing. If he threw 51 punches in a round, there was a time Canelo was landing, half of those shots. That Canelo, he doesn't even throw 50 punches around. Canelo, for the most part, is averaging around 25 punches around, if that. He's very, very selective, and that's on the high end. Very selective with his punch output. Even if you watch Canelo Alvarez when he's training, he's just not getting in my opinion, he's just not getting me, I'm going to give me a warm fuzzy that he's going to have anything outside of power to defeat Jermell Charlo. Now, what people need to understand, they're looking at Jermell Charlo. He's been hurt against Castano, and they say, wow, when Canelo lands that shot, Canelo's going to knock out Jermell Charlo. Now, to that I say, in the most respectful way, that I kind of request that people hold their horses, right? Jermell Charlo is not Ryder. Canelo's out here fighting Ryder. He landed 46 of his power shots and 39% of his total punches. That's because Ryder, if you saw the fight, he really wasn't trying to do much. But in those rounds where Ryder decided he was going to fight back, you saw Canelo's punch output diminished and he wasn't landing as much. Now, the thing about Canelo, when you look at, wow, this man landed, 46% of his power shots, and overall 39% of the total punches, that's because Ryder was a static opponent. When I say static, means he was standing right in front of him. Jermell Charlo is a boxer puncher. He's going to move. He's going to create a lot of problems for Canelo Alvarez. And Jermell can crack. Now, when you look at the dimensions, Jermell is damn near 6 feet tall. He's got like a 4 or 5 inch reach on Canelo. You understand? And he's going up in weight. So when we talk about Jermell getting touched by Castano and being, he got hit with a shot he didn't see, got caught in an exchange, and his legs buckled. He got hit twice. Boom, boom. And, you can saw that the second one was definitely more devastating than the first one. But he didn't go down. But when you talk about him bubbling up 14 pounds, you would think his punch resistance would be better. Because for him standing at damn near 6 feet tall to get down to 154, let me tell you, he can't go any further. That means he's at a point, as far as the weigh-in, he reached a point in time and weight to where his body just couldn't give anymore. So although they rehydrate, you got to remember that there's still not as much fluid surrounding his brain that would help with his punch resistance as there will be him at 168. He should be, you're talking about being 100%. He should be 100% at 168. So I don't think a single shot's going to hurt him. I don't think he is going to come in there and and Canelo's going to be able to walk through his punches. I think he's going to be much stronger. And the thing is, the way he's training and building his body up, he is doing it with a lot of intelligence and the right people in his camp to make sure he remains fast, he remains explosive. And this is something that you guys should understand. Jermell Charlo, just because he's fighting at 168, doesn't mean he has to come in the ring at 168. It's like Pacquiao was fighting at 147. Pacquiao coming in the ring at 144, 143. You think Pacquiao cared? Floyd Mayweather fighting at 154. He coming at 149, 150, 151. Just because they contracted for 168 doesn't mean Jermell Charlo is going to come in that ring at 168. But I do believe when you just look at it, stylistically, styles make fights. And I think this Canelo, I was looking at a side-by-side. I want to show it to you so bad. But, with these copyright strikes, man, you got to be very careful, all right? And I don't want to get one. I don't want to deal with that crap. They showed Canelo, like 4 years ago, hitting mitts with Eddie Reynoso, and they show him now. So what Canelo has done, essentially, is kind of like Mayweather. At a certain point in Mayweather's career, we all talk about the pretty boy Floyd, did the money Mayweather. And where Floyd had to make some adjustments to make sure he could still dominate in the sport, but he just couldn't go out there and let his hands go the way he used to. He found, it's like in basketball, you find your spots. You are consistent from 3 spots on the floor. Why are you going to different areas trying to shoot and trying to score? You keep going to your spots where you know that you're effective. And with Floyd, he found whatever his punches were, whatever his style had to be, he knew it was effective, and he stuck with that and rode it out to the end of his career field. And it was very effective because he went on to beat everybody. Canelo Alvarez could be going through something like that where he's coming up with an approach to fighting where, look, I'm going to be flat-footed, I'm going to have a high guard, I'm going to walk guys down, put that pressure on them, and when I get close to them, chop them down. Limb by limb, chop them down. You understand? Cutty ranks. And that could be what we're going to see, what we're seeing with Canelo. But I'm telling you right now, that shit ain't going to work with Jermell Charlo. Jermell Charlo has a chip on the shoulder. He ain't Jamal. Jermell ain't going to sit there, man, and you hit him, and him just sit there and roll over. That ain't going to happen. And Jermell's not stupid. And I'm telling you right now, Jermell's, although he's with Derrick James, he's pulling off of a lot of what Ronnie Shields taught him and a whole lot of what Derrick James has been able to share with him as well, to continue developing him. I don't think Jermell Charlo's getting the credit, as much credit as he deserves for being probably one of the most well-rounded fighters in boxing today. He didn't become undisputed because he was just a guy in there wandering aimlessly in the ring, shooting in the dark. This man became undisputed because he knew what his strengths were, he knew what his weaknesses were, and where he needed to go back and work on. And he understood his opponent and what they brought to the ring, and he knew how to negate that, nullify that. And even in the rematches, you saw what he did when he came back. He had a better game plan, better strategy, and he didn't make those same mistakes. And he doesn't get caught up in the crowd trying to impress them, trying to talk to the crowd, worrying about getting booed. No, he's sticking to the game plan. And that Joker can punch. He'll be in full defense mode and counter you. And when he goes on the front foot, you already know he's looking to inflict damage. I just think with Canelo Alvarez, I'm telling you, I just think Jermell Charlo's going to beat him. Now, as far as me going as far as saying Jermell's going to knock him out, I mean, to that I got to say, let's hold our horses and not take it to the stupid. But I do think Jermell Charlo's going to beat him. Canelo, this pop shot single punch crap, don't work no more. Don't work no more. But if for some reason the legs, he overtrains, or Jermell Charlo decides that he's going to stand there and try to exchange with Canelo, and he has that chin up in the air, and he gets caught with one of those Canelo, he's from one of them Guadalajara bombs. Jermell could be in trouble because Canelo can crack. Okay, so let's just be real, and he can crack to the body. So, but I think Canelo may land a couple interesting shots, but I honestly don't think he's going to beat Jermell Charlo. And then this is where Jermell's going to have a problem. He's so caught up with Terrence Crawford. he get through Alvarez, which I think he's going to beat him. He may get robbed in the scorecards, but he ain't going to lose that fight. Okay? But this is where he's going to have a problem. If he decides he wants to cut back down to 154, what you may see happen there, if he cuts back down to 154, if he and Crawford even fight now, because Jermell's not going to be undisputed anymore at 154. They're about to strip that man of that WBO belt and elevate Tim Tszyu. But if Jermell cuts down to 154 to fight Crawford, stripping that muscle off, Jermell going to be in trouble, man. You know, once you go up and weight and you put on that muscle, you know, you tend to want to stay there. And don't take my word for it. Most of y'all watching this have been watching boxing for a while. Most of us have seen when Roy Jones went up to heavyweight, what happened. You know, Tarver going up to do the movie, then trying to cut back down. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it's just not good. Not a good thing to do. That being said, we'll see what happens. But I'm telling you right now, I'm predicting Jermell Charlo to beat Canelo. I just don't think Canelo has it anymore. And I'm not saying he's not a good fighter, but that Canelo, that fought Lara, that fought what's it, Trout, that fought what's his name, Cotto, the one that when they did that, what he did at Kirkland, the guy who fought Angulo, that Canelo man that did all that. Matter of fact, while we're talking, right, let's just put some things in perspective, right. I'm about to pull something up for y'all because I was about to end the video, but let's be real. Let's be real here, okay? Because people still tend to think that Canelo Alvarez is that guy. I'm telling y'all, he's not that guy. He is not that guy. Let me pull this up here real quick. He's just not, man. Canelo's a young, hungry guy like Charlo. It ain't happening. Here we go, right here. Let me pull something up for y'all real quick. Okay, so this is Canelo. 59 wins, 39 by KO, 2 losses, right? This man reaches 70 inches. Charlo's 74. But let's just look at some of the names that Canelo has clipped, all right? When you come down here and you take a look at, let's go right back to here, right? The Canelo that fought Alfonso Gomez, beast. Centron, beast. Shane Mosley, beast. Jose Cito Lopez, beast. Austin Trout, beast. Got there with Mayweather. You know, he learned a whole lot from that fight, came back, turned to an animal. Angulo, Lara, Kirkland, Cotto, Khan, we all know the weight issue. Smith, Chavez Jr., that was bullshit with the weight. Golovkin, I think he lost that fight, but what I'm getting at is he was letting his hands go a lot more. Rocky Fielding, Daniel Jacobs, Kovalev, Caleb Smith, Yildirim, Saunders, Plant, Bivol, he lost that fight. Golovkin, Ryder. Right about the Caleb Plant fight, you see that Canelo had slowed down and he kind of changed his approach to fighting. With Saunders, too, he had kind of changed his approach. But he slowed down now more than when he fought Saunders and Plant. You know, and Bivol, we saw what he tried there. That just didn't work, you know, trying to walk someone down. And Golovkin was kind of, you know, beyond his prime when Canelo got him the second time. And Ryder was just standing there. Now he's about to fight Jermell Charlo. Let me tell y'all something. They're counting on Jermell Charlo being too small. But I'm telling y'all right now, I don't think it's going to go so good for Canelo in that fight. When you look at punch output, mobility, ability to control the distance, knowing the space you need to get your shots off, punch selection, and having that will to win. But really, it's about the activity and the power. Jermell has power, man. You don't just be out there knocking people out unless you have power. And if he catches Canelo, which he's going to hit him too, he's going to hurt him. I think the fight's going to be very interesting. If it goes beyond, I would say four rounds, it's going to be interesting to see who starts to get tired. And if for some reason Canelo's doing good body work and Jermell slows, then hey, then I'm wrong. But I just don't think Jermell's going to give him the opportunity to bang him out like that. He hasn't done it before to any other opponent. Can't see him doing it now, especially with this version of Canelo. The Canelo that fought Miguel Cotto, I think he would beat Jermell. But this version, no, he doesn't let his hands go enough. Even when you watch him hit the mitts, I can't post that video. I want to post that, let y'all see the side-by-sides. He ain't the same. He's not the same. I'm not saying that because I'm a Canelo hater, man. I like Canelo, but I'm just being real. He's not the same. It's like watching Floyd Mayweather do these exhibitions. He looked like he can get in that ring, but you can see that, you know, he kind of slowed a little bit. Keith Thurman was my favorite fighter of this era. I like Zab Judah and Chris Bird, my two favorites, but out of these guys, it was Keith Thurman. He went inactive. Keith Thurman doesn't look the same. He slowed a bit. Just being real, all right? So I got Jermell Charlo winning. If it goes the distance, I don't know if he's going to get that decision, but we'll know. The consensus will be that he beat Canelo. That being said, y'all keep cool. Shout out to the veterans, all 7 continents. And look at how this man is built. Man, look at how that man is built, man. Come on, man. He's doing what he's supposed to, right? Y'all keep cool in the breeze.